Watching that storm system spreading lots of snow across the northwest, some rainfall included, develops over Colorado, turns into a major impactor for the mid-Atlantic to the New England states and eastern Canada as we approach Christmas Day. It's going to send a lot of cold, so we're going to break down the timing of the cold as those colder temperatures move in during the course of this week and the travel issues that'll be coming your way due to that storm system passing across the country. That's in today's Daily Shower. If you haven't done so yet, please hit subscribe, like, leave a comment, some feedback, maybe a location you'd like to see in a future video. Matt Makens here with today's Daily Shower, and remember, these are meant to give you a heads up on the weather coming your way, kind of headlines. For location-specific information, rely on your local National Weather Service forecast office. Here's that storm system. The big player will be driving in with some cold air, developing into some snowfall. Then late in the week, we turn into rain and snow for the east. Watch again. There comes a system. It develops over Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, moves on up toward the Great Lakes, so it will impact mostly the northeastern quarter of the country, but there will be some snowfall out west as well. A separate storm system will spread additional moisture to the Pacific Northwest later this week into Christmas weekend as well. Biggest story, and you've probably seen it elsewhere, other YouTube videos or on social media or your local media outlets, the cold that's on the way. So let's break down that cold day by day, and then we'll chat about the amounts of rainfall and snow in just a moment. This is the maximum temperature map for Tuesday. Max temperatures, 8 below zero for Bismarck. Pierre, South Dakota, 1 below. Helena and Billings, 4 below zero. Those are the high temperatures for Tuesday. Elsewhere, we have 60s down to the south, San Antonio 59, 70s in Tampa and Miami. Around the Great Lakes and New England states, we have 30s. Watch the progression of the cold as we move into Wednesday. This is going to be Wednesday morning temperatures. 22 below zero for Bismarck. Minneapolis, 8 below. Denver, 15. We have 30s in Dallas at 37. Oklahoma City's frozen at 29. St. Louis 22. Memphis 32. Nashville 29. Detroit 21. Pittsburgh, Syracuse, New England states all below freezing. That's for Wednesday morning. Wednesday's highs, that cold air sinks even farther down to the south, right around freezing for Wichita, Kansas City 27, teens for Des Moines and Iowa, but below zero highs for Billings, Helena, Pierre, Bismarck, International Falls. Minneapolis barely climbs up to 2. Dallas is down to 48. Meanwhile, Seattle sitting at about freezing. You have Southern California in the upper 60s. Portions of Florida hit the 70s, but that's about the only location, only state to have some 70s as we look at Wednesday. Let's get into Thursday morning now. Jackson Hole, 13 below. Helena, Montana, 28 below. Billings, 26 below. International Falls, 19 below. Des Moines at 2 below. Omaha, 7 below. Denver, 7 below. You look at Dallas, frozen at 32. El Paso's 36. 37 for Memphis. As you look to the Great Lakes region, only 20s for lows. That's Thursday morning. High temperatures Thursday. Omaha climbs to 0. Minneapolis, 1 degree. Pierre, South Dakota at 6 below zero for a high temperature, and 11 degrees is all for Bismarck. Dallas at 39. Seattle will hit 32 as the max for Thursday. Memphis, Nashville, Cincinnati, and points eastward, mostly 40s to 50s. Let's look at Friday morning now. Look at the depth of the cold all the way down into Texas. Houston and San Antonio, 21s. Dallas, 11 degrees Friday morning. Wichita at 5 below. Kansas City, 8 below. Milwaukee, Chicago, above zeros at 7. Nashville, 9. Memphis at 8. Montgomery hits 22. Columbia, 33. Atlanta, 21. Pittsburgh down to 22. Detroit at 18. The Sioux at 15. Very cold Friday morning. Friday afternoon, highs of below zero readings for Omaha and Des Moines. Kansas City to hit 5 for the high. St. Louis 8. Memphis only 16. Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, a mix of 20s and 30s for highs. Seattle and Portland in the lower 40s. Along the East Coast, we do have some 40s and 50s, but really the warmth, if you want to call it that, is 60s and 70s for far southern Florida, as well as Southern California. So not very much warmth across the country for Friday. Into Christmas Eve. This is Christmas Eve in the morning. We have a big bullseye of that very cold Arctic air across most of the country. Dallas this time at 19, Nashville 5, Cincy at 2, Detroit 12, Pittsburgh's down to 9 degrees, Milwaukee and Chicago at zeros. That's actual temperature. Feels like will be much colder with any breeze, obviously. And here are those highs for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve highs, 4 degrees for Des Moines, 3 in Minneapolis, 0 for International Falls. Only teens to 20s as you look from the Great Lakes, spreading into sections of, well, right around New York. Once you get closer to the coast, like Boston and things, you'll have temperatures just barely above freezing. Only 40s, 50s into 60s for Florida. 30s and 40s is all from Dallas to San Antonio. As Christmas Eve, we find the warmth out in Southern California and portions of Southwest Arizona with some 70s there. Seattle for Christmas Eve, 49, 45 around Denver. I do think Cheyenne and Denver, we're going to have to check those numbers as we get closer. When cold air moves into Cheyenne and Denver and northeastern Colorado, it's very hard to get that cold air back out. So I wouldn't be shocked to see our temperatures much cooler than that, not only just Christmas Eve, but also Friday. So the warm up in that region may be delayed versus what you've seen in this video. So again, watching that storm, moving with the cold air, develops and gets much stronger as you look out to the east. So in total for the week ahead, where are the bullseyes of water going to be? From that particular storm system developing from Houston and for the southeast, as well as the New England states. That's going to be the bullseye of water. A secondary storm system will spread that precip across the Pacific Northwest into Christmas weekend. As you look at Houston, Jackson, New Orleans, out toward Dallas, that bullseye covering Louisiana, that's going to be 2.5 to 3 inches of total rainfall there. And you see the blue colorations coming back over the southeast, so portions of Georgia, down into Florida, that's going to be 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and that curls up the eastern seaboard. So some rain on the way over the next week, mostly focusing on the southeast. Elsewhere, we have snow to contend with, so let's chat about that. Snow impact areas, and again, snowfall, I think it's kind of crazy to be talking about snowfall totals 7 days away. So let's focus on 3 days. Let's get into the midweek, and then I'll give you some generalized snowfall totals beyond. But if you're traveling early this week, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, watch out for the Pacific Northwest. There'll be some areas of weather. Kansas City, between Phoenix and Santa Fe, around the Sioux and the Great Lakes, around Syracuse and Buffalo and northern Maine. So here's the snow on the way, and this is going through late Tuesday. So kind of focusing on the early half of the week here. And let's look at the bullseyes here. There's not a lot of them. The snow really is going to come late in the week into the weekend for the New England states, and I'll give you a generalization in a moment. But here's some of the specific snowfall totals on the way through Tuesday. Pacific Northwest, so we have Seattle and Portland. We're looking mostly at the Cascades. To hit the pinks into the reds, that's 2 feet of snowfall. Then look at the Rockies. So we have Montana here. There's Helena. Here's Boise, Idaho. So we're talking mostly around the northern Rockies, close to Glacier, extending down into the south. We're looking at 1 to 2 feet of snowfall in that area of the Rockies as well. Down close to Jackson Hole, we'll pick up more than a foot of snowfall. But for the rest of the Rockies, we're kind of just focusing on the northern Rockies with snowfall for the first half of the week. International Falls, out towards the Sioux, around the Great Lakes, we do have the potential for upwards of 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. That's going to be potential around the Great Lakes. As you look at New England, some spotty areas just south of Buffalo to pick up between 4 to 10 inches. North of Syracuse may climb over a foot of snowfall, and northern Maine will have ranges of about 4 to 10 inches there, covering the northern part of the state. Again, that's focusing on the first half of the week with specific numbers on these maps. Let's just take a general idea, and again, take it with a grain of salt, what the snowfall projection is for the week in total. So as we're looking toward Christmas Day here, how much has fallen during the course of the week? Still looking at the Pacific Northwest to hold on to additional snowfall. A bit more will move into Colorado, mostly the Rockies there. Very little possible around Denver as it appears now. But you look at toward the Great Lakes into New England. As that storm system moves to the New England area, it's going to produce a lot of snowfall. The deepest snow probably stays in Canada. But just generally, again, we're not getting specific. It's too far out to do that. But as you look at southern Canada and the Great Lakes and some pockets here from New York on up toward Maine, it would be possible to be talking about well more than a foot of snowfall in these cases and approaching 2 feet, maybe some isolated 3-foot totals in very, very isolated cases. I think that's extreme. I think we're kind of looking more like a 1 to 2 foot total in these areas. too early to get specific. In a future video, we will apply some specific snowfall totals for those areas. So that's your daily shower. Thank you so much for watching. If you can, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Leave your feedback in the comments section below. Happy holidays and safe travels.